Our running back waivers. He shouldn't be.
He is.
He shouldn't be because we've been talking about him for a couple of weeks now.
Yep. 10 out of 10 segue, 10 out of 10 performances from Bam Knight lately as well. He shouldn't be available in any league. And as we were talking about yesterday, like if you had, say you have both Saquon Barkley and Bam Knight, and for whatever reason you're so stacked at running back that you have to choose one of the New York running backs, I don't think it's crazy to go with Bam Knight this week. He's played that well, and he's got a favorable matchup against Detroit.
Not only does he have a favorable matchup against Detroit, but look at his upcoming schedule. Lions, then the Jags, then Seattle. He's at Seattle. They play the Dolphins in Week 18 if you play that far. But, that's a really good running back schedule. Those are three defenses that you're not scared about at all. He's played 3 games this year. He's averaging 15.3 fantasy points per game. He played 47% of the snaps last week, and he out-touched. This is the most important thing. He out-touched Michael Carter 19-8. So even though they basically split the snaps, he dominated the touches with Michael Carter. He's had 17 touches and 75 total yards, at least those minimums in all 3 games he's played. As you see it there on your screen, just how much better he was than Michael Carter in every category that we care about as well. He also got the touchdown here. Bam Knight, jump on the bandwagon. Zonovan here to save fantasy seasons. I think he's a top 20 play this week at home against the Lions.
Yeah, I think there was some concern that maybe it was a flash in the pan after he did it against the Chicago run defense, which isn't good. And Minnesota's run defense is okay, but it's a bad defense overall. But to do it against Buffalo in the snow, goes 17 for 71, touchdown. He's just legitimate. Michael Carter as well loses that crucial fumble that basically cost the Jets the game. They're probably going to lose anyway, but that really cost them. I think that's just another thing that makes it clear it's Bam Knight's backfield.
What I would say here is just if you go to your waiver wire, and I would rank them just so people know, if Damian Harris is available, I would still prefer Bam Knight.
Yeah.
I would rank them Bam Knight, then Damian Harris, and now the third running back we're going to talk about.
Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah.
Your man Chuba, who was a villain for you on the weekend.
Sitting in my dynasty league. He's sitting on my bench. Why would I start him? I started Deontay Foreman.
Yeah.
It's a half-point PPR as well, that league. But yes, the fact of the matter is that the Carolina Panthers, especially under Steve Wilks and without Chris McCaffrey, have gone very run-heavy. And so even though Foreman's getting all of his, Chuba Hubbard is also running the ball quite a bit. The Panthers have at least, get this, 45 rush attempts in 3 of their past 4 games. As a team, 45 rush attempts, 3 of the past 4. As you see, Chuba Hubbard's game log in the 5 games since Chris McCaffrey was traded. And you see, the fact of the matter is, 17 rush attempts in Week 12, 14 in Week 14 right there. He's now had back-to-back games with 17 touches because you see the 3 receptions there in Week 14 as well. So 17 touches in back-to-back weeks. He's had at least 65 yards from scrimmage in 3 of the 5 games since McCaffrey was dealt. Again, Carolina going really run heavy, and they play the Steelers this week, which isn't a great matchup, obviously, but they're definitely not going to want to throw. And so Hubbard, who has some passing game usage, could be interesting here as a flex play.
I think the best thing for Hubbard is that Carolina defense is playing fantastically well, and the fact that they're in these games, and they're really in the mix to win the division now, the Panthers. They're right there for the division. They're plus 350 on BetMGM to win the division. This is ridiculous. They're 5-8.
Right.
Baker Mayfield was their quarterback 2 weeks ago, and all of a sudden they're in the thick of a playoff race, and they might catch Tom Brady and the Bucs, and they have to win this game, and they don't want to put these games in the hands of Sam Darnold. Someone who watched pretty much all of that Seattle game, they were not letting Sam Darnold do anything.
No.
If they have any excuse to run the ball, they will, which makes Hubbard and Foreman's still the guy you want, but
yes.
Hubbard's viable as well.
Especially because they're going so run heavy, and by the way, after Pittsburgh, they play Detroit.
Yeah.
You like that matchup. So Hubbard, somebody to grab for maybe even 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now. I mean, nothing gives you confidence about the Buccaneers closing this out to win this division.
No.
I mean,
I think the Panthers might just be better than them at this point, honestly.
And they're playing. What they're doing is they're taking early season Jets blueprint. Which they sort of hid Zach Wilson. They're we're going to play really good defense. We're going to run the hell out of the ball. And we're going to try to grind out some wins. But that's what my Commanders, by the way, have been doing. It's a little bit flashier because Heineke is kind of a little bit of gunslingery, which I think is a verb, but probably not.
Favre.
No, but Favre, a little gunslingery. There's a little bit of that to Taylor Heineke. But yeah, that's what the Commanders are doing too. Is we're going to run the hell out of the ball and we're going to play good defense.
Yep, keep pounding. All right,
Yep.
Well, another team that likes to run the hell out of the ball and also has a favorable matchup is the Baltimore Ravens. And Gus Edwards, even though J.K. Dobbins was the story, Gus Edwards still got a heavy workload. Looks like it's going to be Tyler Huntley at quarterback. That's not 100% confirmed. If it's not, it's going to be Anthony Brown, and they're going to run a ton regardless.
Well, he's played 5 games this year, Gus Edwards has, including some with J.K. Dobbins, and he's got at least 11 carries and 50 rushing yards in 4 of the 5 games he's played this year. To your point, last week, as you see it there on your screen, he still got the 13 rush attempts, and had the 66 yards against the Steelers, which is pretty good. Dobbins was the story, but Gus still getting double-digit touches in the majority of these games that he's played, and you love this matchup against the Cleveland Browns. Like, there's only one team in the NFL that's given up more rushing touchdowns to opposing running backs than the Cleveland Browns this year, right? They allow 5.2 yards per carry to opposing running backs. That's most in the NFL. And according to our friends at Pro Football Focus, Ravens have the 3rd easiest remaining schedule for running backs. So it's Cleveland, Atlanta, Pittsburgh again, and then they're at Cincinnati. So the Gus Bus doesn't have a lot of passing game usage. You prefer him in half-point PPR or non-PPR. But, yeah, like, they're going to run, he's going to get 10 touches and a shot at a touchdown every week.
Yep. The line is 3 on BetMGM. So BetMGM thinks that it's going to be Tyler Huntley. The line would not be 3 if it was Anthony Brown. It would start to get out of control. So expect that it will be close enough where they can run against that really bad Browns run D. Now, a team that does not have a bad run defense is the San Francisco 49ers. They play Seattle in Seattle on Thursday night. And Travis Homer is somewhat of an interesting pickup. Kenneth Walker was limited in practice, so he might play. If he plays, then you're out on Homer.
Yeah, Lynn, I don't think you want him against San Francisco. The truth of the matter is. But we're just, if you need somebody who qualifies at running back, he is a live body. And I think you're looking more ahead to Kansas City, the second week game here. I guess the point is if you're in a deeper league and you're desperate, Travis Homer and Ken Walker is out again for Thursday night. Travis Homer is the guy you wanted. We talked about this on Fantasy Football pregame, which is there were some reports out there that Tony Jones was getting the start for the Seahawks. And we said this when that report came out. We said, I don't care. We still want Travis Homer. If you're picking between the two, I still prefer Travis Homer. He's been in that system longer. They really like him. They trust him more. I think Homer's the guy you want. The truth of the matter is that was true. Now, it didn't matter because he didn't do anything, but there was 13 running back touches for the Seahawks in Week 14, and Travis Homer got 11 of them. Yep. He played 91% of the snaps, and so, look, it's an awful matchup against the Niners, but because Travis Homer is used in the passing game and because their defensive front is so strong, you could see some dump-offs to Travis Homer. So, again, he's a desperation play, but, we try to cover leagues of all sizes here.
Yep. We're in the warm body phase of running back waivers. Let's get to another couple of warm bodies in Jordan Mason and Khalil Herbert, who are available in 88% of leagues for Mason, 64% of leagues for Herbert. Any interest in either of these guys?
Only really is insurance. I mean, Herbert is expected to return to practice prior to the Week 16 game they have against the Buffalo Bills. Probably not going to want to play him in that first game. You want to see it back and how he uses, but maybe you could potentially see him in Week 17. It'd be tough to, if you got to the finals in Week 17, it'd be tough to start him, but who knows, but I think he's insurance if you've been riding David Montgomery, and of course Jordan Mason. He's the only non-CMC running back to get a touch for the Niners in the last 2 games since Elijah Mitchell went down with an injury. So I think he's Christian McCaffrey insurance more than anything.
We talked about Pierre Strong and Kevin Harris before. Would you take either of those 2 guys over any of the names that we've mentioned?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on Pierre Strong. If I'm in a PPR league and I need someone for this week, I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on Pierre Strong over like Travis Homer. Like that's where I would be on the list. Like because I think there's a better chance Pierre Strong has a good game this week than Travis Homer.
Yep, I think I mean,
again, we don't know Stevenson's, but again, as we go into waivers tonight on Tuesday night, that's sort of where I'm at.
It's just such a brutal matchup. Even if Ken Walker is active, like you're probably starting Ken Walker just because he's Ken Walker against San Francisco, and there's so much touchdown equity there. But you're not even feeling good about Ken Walker against that defense with a bum ankle. All right, we're going to go to break. When we come back, wide receivers on the waiver wire, including an update on Deebo Samuel.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and RotoWorld.com.
Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, okay? Respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Roto-World, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.